So as is often the case when I work on stuff, I broke something on my air distributor here. I actually broke a couple things while I was taking it apart. You might see why. So to get the heater core out of this particular air distributor, the only way to do it is to completely disassemble the thing. And there's a little piece in here that you have to unhook that meets up right here. There's a screw there that holds these two arms of a lever together. There is, let's see if I can set this to the side for a second. There's an air deflector that goes in here. It's got a rod connected to it, and one of the things I broke, this is a round rod. It's got a flat section here that you won't be able to see unless I get it up close. Flat section, and it's also got a piece here where it goes through that flat section. Well, this piece broke off from here when I pulled that out. So I've got some JB Weld, some epoxy, and we're gonna fix that today. There's also a little connecting rod that goes between these two levers, where I broke a piece off that as well. So we're gonna see if we can fix that too. One of the first things you want to do if you're going to use epoxy is make sure that your pieces and parts are clean. I'm also going to use some sandpaper to rough the surfaces up a little bit. First I'm going to clean them off really good, then I'll sand them, then I'll clean them again. I want to make sure I make the contact surfaces as clean as possible. And I'm just using a cleaner degreaser, just anything that doesn't leave a film or anything will work. I don't want to break anything else while I'm cleaning, so I'm being kind of delicate on this surface here. Okay. Alright, so I'm just going to scuff the edges of some of this stuff with some, it's 150 grit sandpaper. I would like to have something a little more coarse, but that's all I could find today, so I'm just barely going to scuff this stuff up. Any place where I think I might have epoxy. And I'll be using just some JB Weld quick setting epoxy, so we'll see how that works for us today. It takes about an hour to cure, and then I should be able to assemble everything and put it back in the Suburban. Alright, here we go. We're gonna squeeze some of this into a mixing tray. Put our cap back on. we're going to use our little mixer to mix it up thoroughly. And it sets in 5 minutes, so we need to be kind of quick here. So with this guy, I'm going to use some forceps here. Just kind of get some on the edges. Don't want it to bond with the metal. So we'll see how that goes. May not be able to avoid it bonding with the metal. We will see. So I'm going to hold that there for a second. Set that off to the side. All right. Now for this guy. I'm actually gonna put this on the big piece here. Of all the places that I want it to bond. And then I'm going to set our piece in here, like so. And I'm probably going to add a little bit more around some of these joints because this one has to hold really well. Okay, since I didn't show the disassembly of this heater distributor, I will show you some things when it comes to reassembling it. So the last step I found with disassembly, this is a little plunger that works this vacuum actuator, and there's an arm on this flap here, and those two have to connect. You could reach in through the bottom here to make sure everything's lined up correctly, and to get the bolt started. I think it's a 7mm bolt. Actually, it's 15/16 is what I've been using to work on that one. Also, this little guy here is what I did my repair on. It seems to be working okay. So once we get that in, this rod here will slide in through the top. It'll go through the case though, and then the flat side has to be turned just right to get it to go where it needs to go. Yeah, it looks like it should work fine. Okay. So, I'm going to start off by connecting these two things. And there you go. Okay, we've got this all put together here. So now we've got to connect the vacuum lines, put it back in through the firewall. So after you get the air distributor box installed again, you can hook your heater hoses to the new core. Make sure to keep track of which hose is for the inlet and which one is for the outlet. Also, don't forget to remove any plugs that you had in the hoses to keep them from leaking. If it's been a while since your coolant was changed, you may want to drain the radiator and flush the system before you remove the old core. That way you don't fill your new core with a bunch of dirty, debris-filled coolant. Mine looked pretty clean, so I left it alone. You'll also want to check your coolant level after the new core fills up, and add more as necessary. By now, some of you are probably realizing that this is just footage of the heater hose removal played in reverse. I didn't actually film myself reconnecting the hoses, but I wanted to have something playing in the background while I finished up the video. Since you're still here, you may as well hit the like button on this video and subscribe to my channel. I'll have more videos featuring the Suburban, the Magnum RT, and another previously unmentioned project vehicle coming soon, so stay tuned.